Okay. Hola, muy buenos días. Gracias por estar aquí. En el día de hoy tenemos bastante información bien interesante por parte de la gente de LG Energy. Para los que no me conocen, mi nombre es Nelson Plas, líder del equipo de energías renovables aquí en Glen International. La parte de atrás está Nicole Roy, que forma parte del equipo. También cualquier duda, pregunta de lo que van a ver en el día de hoy, obviamente los precios, pues también se los vamos a proveer. Con eso no hay ningún problema. Con LG Energy les puedo comentar de parte nuestra, ¿verdad? Que estamos comenzando la relación con ellos. Ellos estuvieron en Puerto Rico, inclusive previo a María, ¿cierto? Y nada, ahora vienen con su propia tecnología. Van a ver todas las cosas nuevas que tienen. Y yo creo que la verdad es que siendo una compañía como lo es LG, yo creo que todos saben, ¿verdad? El poder que tienen, lo grandes que son, lo que van a hacer es serio, lo que hacen es serio. Por eso estamos aquí con ellos, por eso entendemos y creemos en su tecnología. Así que nada, con eso, esa es la pequeña introducción que yo les doy en el día de hoy. Sí les presento a Andrew Kelly, que va a ser el recurso, el team va a estar presentando. Su presentación es en inglés, ¿verdad? Porque es su idioma. Sin embargo, tenemos los dos PowerPoints, lo tenemos en inglés, lo tenemos en español también, que después se les va a proveer a todos. ¿Está bien? Y saludar a los que estén online también. Pues nada, muchas gracias y los dejo con Andrew.
Thank you, Nelson. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody on the live stream. How's everybody doing today? Great. Thank you for coming today. I really appreciate it. I'm Andrew Kelly, the sales manager with LG Energy Solution for the U.S. I've got a couple of my other colleagues in the room today. For those on camera, I really appreciate you joining. So we're going to break our session today into three segments. First, I want to explain who we are, describe our products, our basic products, review our battery offerings, and then in the second half of today, I want to get into some of the technical details, and we'll do a live demo. I'm going to ask for a volunteer, and we'll do a mock build of one of the batteries. So we'll open up this box, we'll assemble one of the batteries. Before we do that, though, we'll go through some of the basics. And at the end of today, we'll take everybody's contact information, and we'll make sure you guys are all registered. I'll show you how to do that on our website as well. Make sure you're registered, show you how to get certified. We have a webinar this Friday for those that want to get a little bit deeper on the technicals, as well as want to get through the certification process. You can do it pretty quickly on your own, but if you want some assistance, if you want us to help you through the certification test, we're going to have a webinar this Friday. I will send the invitation to everybody that registered in the room today and everybody that registered as well online. So we're going to start there. Before I get started, does anybody have any initial questions before I jump right in? Okay, and then quick note to my AV team. Are there questions that people can type online? Okay, so at the end of each section, we'll pause and we'll field any questions that they have. We'll do about a 5-minute break after these first few slides here. Cool. All right, let's get started. So, who is LG Energy Solution, and why should you choose us? Why are we a good fit for the Puerto Rico market? So, a couple things here. We're part of the LG holding group. We're an LG brand, very well-known household name, very reliable brand here. We're founded in 1947 under LG Chem or LG Chemical. So we've been in business for a number of years now. And back in 2020, LG Chemical split into two major groups. We split off from LG Chem into LG Energy Solutions. So we are our primary focus is battery manufacturing. That's our core competency. That's our expertise, is building batteries for all different applications and all different industries. So since 2020, we've separated from LG Chem, but we've been building lithium-ion batteries for over 23 years now, since the late 90s. So what makes us unique in the ESS space is the fact that we manufacture all the batteries, all the components for the batteries. We assemble and manufacture that all ourselves. So we're one of the only ESS manufacturers that actually has complete control over research and development, manufacturing, sourcing, and everything else. So here's a bit of an overview of where we're located in the United States and the Caribbean. All of our materials are shipped over from Korea to the Western U.S. into Los Angeles, and then from there distributed throughout the country. So from Glenn International, they're going to be receiving material from LA, so we'll ship that over to here directly from South Korea. So we have a pretty good global footprint. All the other facilities you see service the markets they're located in, like Australia, Poland for Europe, and China for the Chinese market, etc. So we also have a connection here to Detroit, Michigan, or Troy. We have a big presence in the automotive space. That's one of our large verticals. I'm going to skip the awards, but if you guys want to read that, I'll share the slide deck with you. But just so you have an idea of who some of our key customers are and our important verticals. So in the ESS side, we have some of the, we need to add your logo here. So Glenn International is an important new ESS customer of ours. And over on the left, you can see many major auto manufacturers. Now, the reason I like to highlight our automotive customers is not only does that allow us to do things here in the US, but they also provide a lot of financial support. We also, as a company, we borrow a lot of the technology from the automotive space. So we share some of the same battery technology that those cars use. So we benefit heavily from their R&D, and that a lot of their products are used in the ESS. Same with the mobility and IT stuff. So handheld devices, power tools, things like that, you'll see our batteries in there. I'm not going to go too much into the details about the way batteries are designed. If you guys want to go deep and learn about battery chemistry and things like that, or if your customers get really excited about battery chemistry, we can definitely do that. But I think that the key message here is that we have a very unique manufacturing process. We have full control of research and development. And every time we release a new product, we improve on the last. And that's in power output, capacity, reliability, warranty. So that has happened every generation. The current generation we're selling in the market today is generation 3. But for the US, this is our second version. We launched the previous version here in Puerto Rico under LG Chem, but now this is the first version under LG ES. You'll see the battery itself in just a moment. Again, another version, or the actual physical versions inside this box right here. Cool. Continuing on, so we're going to review our two key offerings, our two batteries, the 16H and the 10H. Let's start with the 16. That's our most popular option. I think the most viable or the most useful option for the Puerto Rico market when backup is your most important use case here, your most important application is backup power. This is our larger battery, 16 kilowatt hours of usable energy. Power continuous output of 7 kilowatts can peak up to 11 kilowatts. So it's pretty powerful considering this isn't just a single battery. If you stack two of them, that's 32 kilowatt hours of storage. If you can find an inverter in the future that will allow you to operate at 14 kilowatts, you could potentially, that's your ceiling for your power output. So right now, the power output is governed or determined by the battery, DC coupled or AC coupled battery inverter that you choose. There's a couple of options. You'll see those in a moment here. But essentially, a single battery will operate continuously at 7 kilowatts. The warranty is 10 years. We base the warranty on energy throughput, or it's basically its capacity and output at the end of 10 years. It should be able to produce it should be able to store 70% of its useful capacity, and energy throughput at the end of 10 years is 52 megawatt hours. Any questions so far on the basics?
So have you been able to look at the research and see what actually is the lifespan of the battery itself?
Yeah, it's about 12 years. Yeah, 12 to 13 years.
Okay.
On average.
And regarding the peak, the 11 kilowatt peak, for how long? 30 seconds?
That is for 4 seconds.
4 seconds?
Yeah, as the motor turns on.
Okay.
Now, if you install two batteries together in parallel, and you have a 10 kilowatt hybrid inverter, you could effectively operate at a continuous 10 kW. So that is possible with two, specifically with the SolarEdge, they're 10 or they're 11.4. That one you're capable of operating at 10, but effectively 7 kilowatts is your continual. Yeah, 11 seconds for 4 seconds. 11 kilowatts for 4 seconds. Sorry.
Okay.
Now, much like its larger, like its big brother, the 10H is a very similar form factor. It's a smaller battery, but the concept is exactly the same. 9.6 kilowatt hours of usable energy, 5 kilowatts of output, 7 kilowatt peak. The same battery life, the same warranty, and also stackable for 2 units. I will mention one important detail on the parallel configuration. To configure two, you have to configure two of the same type. So you can do 2 10s or 2 16s. Mixing and matching is not supported. To make it easy though, each battery is, you can identify it as the primary or the secondary. It's the same SKU or the same part number for both batteries. There's a toggle switch inside that you just adjust. So you can make that selection, tell the battery which mode it's operating in, single battery mode, or which position it's in, primary or secondary. So it's a lot simpler. Older versions had separate SKUs. We've eliminated that, made it a lot simpler. A couple things I'll also mention is we have a monitoring tool called Resi Monitor. It's a mobile-based tool that allows you to not only monitor your battery, like your state of charge, your battery health, error codes and things like that, but it's also how you register your battery and get the battery signed up and push firmware and things like that. So you use Resi Monitor, connect your battery to the internet. From there, you can receive auto updates. You can monitor it, make sure everything's functioning properly, do some remote troubleshooting with our tech support, things like that. And also register your homeowner for the warranty, all in that same process. So that's part of the commissioning, which you'll see in a few moments later. Okay, so here are a couple of our inverter partners and some key features. So I'm going to point out the modular design first on the bottom. So this is how the unit comes. There's a box around all of these, but it comes in these 4 boxes: the 2 battery modules, the battery control unit, and then the mounting hardware and some accessories, brackets, stuff like that. So it comes just like that. Those are the 4 components there: the connection plate at the bottom, 2 battery modules, and then the battery control unit. So one person theoretically couldn't lift all this himself. The battery modules are a little bit heavy, but it is possible. Certainly 2 people could easily move each module. I will note that this is this is not a live battery, so there are no cells in here, so it will feel lighter than the real battery. So you might feel like a superhero today, just moving it around. I mentioned one key thing about the 10 versus the 16. As you can see, it's a bit smaller. It has fewer battery cells. It's lighter. The 10 can be also wall mounted, whereas the 16 is too heavy to be wall mounted. They're both designed to be floor standing as well, so you can do either for the 10 or just mounting on the floor for the 16. And then as far as compatible inverters in Puerto Rico, we're bringing our own inverter to market shortly. It's going through the LUMA approval process. The battery is already approved, so you can install that today. And then available here in Puerto Rico, my understanding is Solus is already approved, SolarEdge, GoodWe. I'm not sure about Sungrow and Growlot, and I think SMA. I'm not sure about their next generation. So, but effectively for you guys, it's probably going to be GoodWe, Solus, and SolarEdge. Those are going to be your 3 most readily available brands to choose from. We have a list of specific models, but basically any of the battery inverters they have are going to work for with our battery. If you need specific documentation, I'll show you where you can find it on our website, or I can send it to you guys after our meeting today. Okay, so there's a formatting issue here, but message here is that we have another mobile app. This is for contractors and for homeowners. It's a customer service app. So this is designed to help you connect with tech support and customer service via your mobile app a lot faster than calling people on the phone. If you ever have anything like an error code or something's not functioning properly, you always have the option of calling our tech support. but you might be able to get a faster service using the app. The other key benefit is you can track the status of your warranty or your shipments or things like that. So you scan, picture your battery, site conditions, enter some notes, and you'll receive a message back from our tech support team, and then you can track the status of where's my RMA or where's my delivery, when's it going to arrive. You can do all that interaction right from your mobile device. So that will be available for you guys in both the Google Store and the Apple Store. Available now. All right. I wanted to cover the roadmap just so you can see where we're going today and as well as into the future. So right now you can see Gen 3 is prime. That's what we call our current battery, the Resin Prime. We're going to continue to support this battery and sell it through the end of next year at least. We're introducing a new battery later this year. I'll show you guys what that looks like when we get closer to selling that. Right now it's at least 6 months out. So just so you know, we are thinking 2 to 3 years in the future with our battery technology and our products. We're heavily invested in the U.S. market as well. I want to make that very clear. We and our partners in Detroit, Michigan, just are manufacturing a new facility in Arizona, a manufacturing plant. So this is a large manufacturing facility right outside Phoenix, and it's designed all around the ESS products for our residential group as well as for the utility scale team as well. So we're hoping that's going to be online by 2025. But this multi-billion-dollar factory is going to support about 16 gigawatt hours of capacity every year. So we're really looking to continue to grow in the U.S. market. And Puerto Rico is new to us now, so we're excited to do that with you guys. I'll mention one other detail here is at towards the end of this year, you can see JF1. JF1, you don't have to remember that, but essentially that's we're developing a small commercial product. So if there's a need for backup power, or small commercial backup power, we should have a product available by the end of the year here. So if you guys do some small commercial installations as well, we should definitely talk after our meeting today. There's a couple of details we're finalizing, and if there are certain specifications that you need, now's a great time to tell us what you might need for your small commercial application. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. We could have a conversation about small commercial and industrial installations. And available very shortly is our Prime Plus. So that's the combination of either battery size and our battery inverter with a backup device. So again, Luma is approving this right now. We submitted documentation several weeks ago, so your guess is as good as mine as how long that will take. We're hopeful that it'll be another month or something. We'll be checking up on them again. So if you guys have any tips on how to speed things up, we'd love them, but we'll let you know as soon as it's available here. A couple key details again. 1 or 2 batteries are usable. One size is a 9.6 kW inverter with a 200 amp rated pass-through backup device. The auto backup device has your transfer switch, an energy meter with CTs, and everything else you need to install, all in one kit. So commissioning is fast, installation is quickly. At the moment, we are going through various field tests with some of our key customers in the mainland. So we've conducted a number of these installations. They've gone well. We're doing about 10 more of these before we're completed with our testing process. It'll launch in the U.S. In June, and I'm guessing here probably in July. It's my estimation. Great for the Puerto Rico market, as you can see. You got 9.6, capacity of 9.6 kilowatts of output, as well as generator support. So if you'd like to install generators in certain projects, you can include a generator. You can install a generator here as well. Any questions so far?
Question. The enclosure for that battery for outdoors or only?
Good question. It can be outdoors. It is IP66, so it needs some kind of a cover. You can put it outside your home, but it should be under a roof a little bit. It can't be out in direct sunlight all day long. or in direct rain. It can get wet though, it's fine. You know, some rain's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
The inverter, this inverter is outdoor rated as well, as are most inverters.
How much PV power can be added through the plus inverter? Is that AC coupled, right?
This one's AC coupled, so it's completely separate.
Okay, so what's the maximum PV you can couple with this inverter?
It depends on your application, essentially. I mean, whatever. So you have 200. So you can connect to your 200 amp service, 200 amp main service panel. It'll accept. Basically, it is a 40 amp backup, so it'll accept 40 amps of input as well. So if you have, 10 kilowatt system, that's fine. But I wouldn't try to overload it, with 40 kilowatts of PV. But it is essentially separated, so it'll govern. The input it'll only accept a certain amount. So you could have a very large PV system, but since they're not exactly tied together, there's no PV input in the backup device or the inverter. So it's all done through the main panel. Any other questions before I continue? All right, I'm going to skip ahead 2 slides. Here's a quick, just so you can get an idea of where we're going in the future. Here's the next generation battery. Continuing with the theme of the modular stackable thing, but this one's very stackable. It comes with built-in blocks, 3.6 kilowatt blocks. You stack them up. You choose how large your battery should be. You choose the number of modules that will determine the battery size, capacity, and all that. So it's designed to be plug and play, boltless assembly, one person transport. That should just be available starting in January next year. So more info to come on that. I'm not going to read all these specs. You guys can take a look at these after. I'll share this presentation with you. This gives you an idea of weight, power output, things like that. So if you have any questions, this is a good reference guide. I can show you some stuff on the website too. Sounds like there's a question.
Question from Facebook, William. Guarantee, what's the guarantee?
10-year warranty, perhaps? 10-year warranty, and I'll point out these 2 numbers right here at the bottom. The warranty is based on energy throughput. So for the 10, that's at the end of 10 years, 32 megawatt hours of throughput and 54 megawatt hours for the 16. Are you guys familiar with does that term translate energy throughput? If that term is not clear, I can explain it, but if it does make sense, let me know. Good?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions on Facebook?
We're good.
All right. That brings us to the end of the first section. So that's just a summary of the Prime, Resi Prime battery, Prime Plus, LG Energy Solution. I'll mention a couple things about Puerto Rico and what we're doing here. So Glen International is our key distributor on the island. We're looking to start understanding, the market, your customers' needs, your forecast, so we can help Glenn start forecasting for you guys too. So that's kind of where we're going next. Thank you for joining us on this first section here. We're going to pause for just a few minutes, see if there's any other questions, and then we'll move into the technical side, the assembly and all that. All right,
One more
first question.
From
Second question.
Wilson as well. What's the chemistry of the battery and the operating voltage?
Got it. Good question. So it's a high voltage battery, up to 400 volts, and it's a lithium ion NMC chemistry. Any other questions online or in the room?
In terms of retrofit, other systems, let's say, and this is regarding the battery itself, the first part, how easy it is to retrofit existing systems? Many of us sometimes receive customers that are in the lead acid and want to move on to lithium ion, and presenting this as an alternative to remove the old batteries and put this new battery there. What about the retrofit?
Great question. I'm going to go back a couple slides to slide 10. So retrofitting is very much possible we have a list of compatible inverters, and I can show you on the website where to find that list. So assuming you have one of these brands installed and you have the appropriate model that is compatible with this generation, then it's a simple process. If you have we'll just say you have a SMA or a SolarEdge that's 7 years old, probably not compatible because of the age of the battery. So in order to do that, you would either add one of a different, upgrade the inverter, add a new battery. If that's not financially possible, Prime, I'm going to go ahead to slide 13. Prime Plus is an option because this is AC coupled. So you could do this entire system, this entire kit by itself and separate it. So if they have lead acid batteries, you can essentially unhook the batteries, add this on separately, and you have 9.6 kW backup system. So that's a possibility as well. So there's kind of two different ways to go about it. Upgrading the batteries they have. It's fairly unusual to, I haven't seen every piece of equipment out there, but in my experience, it's unusual to have an inverter that will support 48 volt and 400 volt at the same time. I think that's pretty unusual. So likely you'll have to equipment or add something on. That would be my guess. But if it's a solar, specifically if it's solar only, they don't have any batteries. But this is also a good application. And same thing with our compatible inverters. They also have many AC couple options too. So AC coupling is a good retrofit option. For those 48 volt systems though, I would definitely like to look at those with you. So if you have any existing plans or if you can share some specific documentation about that project, we can definitely get a little more specific about that because we want to make sure everything works properly. There will need to be a little bit of reconfiguration, especially if you have transfer switches and things like that. So it can get a little complicated with retrofitting. So it's possible though, if you're willing to get creative.
Thank you.
Any other questions online?
We're good.
Okay, great. I'm going to finish off with one detail here. Close out this section on the Prime Plus. When this is available, there's two promotions. The first promotion is on the kit, a $1,000 promotion off the entire kit. So we'll get Glenn to generate some quotes for you guys if you guys are interested when we get close to the release date or when it's released. And there is also, we have a special pricing discount for our customers as well. So we'll put those numbers together for you, but essentially we're looking at something around $100 to $300 off per battery, depending on what kind of quantities you guys need. So effectively, $1,000 for the kit plus a battery discount. Okay, I'm gonna pause here, and we're on the blue one now. You guys want to take a quick break, get some coffee real quick, or do you guys want to keep going? Coffee?
¿Quiere café, discutito, un saltini? Sí, sí. Ahí. Maybe like 5 minutes.
All right, we're gonna do a quick 5-minute break for everybody here. Just a moment. I'm gonna mute us, okay? Unless you go.
Mic is on.
Okay, we're coming back here in just a moment. Right. All right, thanks, folks. We're back here. We're going to continue with the second section here. We're going to talk about here. We've got this translated into Spanish, if that's helpful. I'm not going to read it in Spanish because you don't want to hear my accent. It's not very good. But again, these will be shared with you too. So if you want to understand this in more detail, you can review these later. But I'll review this as best I can in English, and then I will need a volunteer about 15 minutes to help me open up these boxes and assemble this. So I'll ask for a volunteer then. Okay, so we're going to review a couple of things here. We've already briefly talked about Resume Monitor, but I'm going to go into a little more detail on what that is. I'm going to show you the battery website and how all that works, and a brief video, installation video. The unfortunate video is only in English. We don't have that translated into Spanish yet, but hopefully that's not a problem. If it is, we'll do what we can here. So these are the important links. Here's our battery website, lgesbattery.com. And a link to the longer installation commissioning video. So before you guys install the battery, there's a couple key things you need to do here. Number one is you need to go to the battery website, view it, register. What we'll do with your sign-in sheet today is we'll get everybody registered. We'll enter your details, and then you'll see an email come through to you by tomorrow. From there, you'll want to set a password and log into the website and start reviewing some of the materials. The most important thing to do is the certified installer test. That is a requirement in order to actually commission the battery, register the battery, and get the warranty signed up. So everybody who touches and installs a battery has to be installed. Important for the contractors or anybody on camera as well, or anybody on the live stream, is anybody who installs a battery. That could be, say you have four installers at your company, all 4 people need to be certified. So the certification test is, I think now 26 questions. Should take you roughly about an hour to do. So you can review the installation guide and the manual, user manual. All the info is going to be in the installation video too. You take the test, you're good to go. It doesn't expire, so it's for this battery generation. It is also free of charge. No cost to get certified. And again, just to remind everybody, we are having a webinar this Friday. If anybody has some confusion or prefers to go through the material with our trainer, we've got our trainer hosting a webinar, and they can walk you through the certification process again in case you forget, or there's a couple of details, or you get confused by some of the questions. We'll help you out on Friday too. You can also always email myself. You'll have all our contact info sent out to everybody after today. You can always email us and we'll help you out directly. Any questions so far? Cool. We'll make it easy so you can visit the website by clicking the link. You can't see my mouse, but you just click the link there. There's the video. It's all right there. Snapshot. This is an actual snapshot of the website. So those are the drop-down menus you'll need to see. And what's starred is the product info, tech support, certified installer test. Those are the most important things for you to look out for. So here's your technical support and another installation video. So it would make it pretty hard to miss this stuff. The website, you'll see these 4 sections: home battery partner. You guys will be considered home battery partners. And the Q&A section is useful too. Okay, so Resume Monitor, you guys have a mobile device. You can use the QR codes to find it, or you could just search for it in the Apple or Google store. That's fine too. And it's available in a variety of languages, so you can use it in English or Spanish. Or if you want to practice your German or Italian, that too. I want to point out one really important detail that sometimes gets missed, but in order to get the full 10-year warranty, you have to use this application when you register the battery. The batteries come with a 5-year warranty. You have to select a button. You'll see it in the first screen when you're registering the battery. Opt in for your 10-year warranty. So you must in order to use the app, you use the same login as you do for your certified installer test. So it's the same, the Resi Monitor is the same login for the website too. So one login gets you into everything. All right, so we've got an installation video here. I'm gonna show you how to do some of the basics, the assembly, and then there's gonna be a brief view of the Resi Monitor application. All right, let's see if we can get this to play here.
And I'm gonna turn you off.
Okay. This is what everything that you'll see today. See around here. There we go. So there's two modules, and I'll show you where to look. Each module, there's a sticker, and on the sticker, there's a QR code and the part number. The part number will end, and it'll have A or B on it. The B goes in front of the A in back. This is all in the manual, and I'll show you guys where to look for that. It can be confusing. They're not interchangeable. They have to go in the right order. If you're assembling more than one battery, make sure you keep track of the right modules, go with the right VCU. I've had companies install two and they put two Bs and then two As and it doesn't work. So
If you mix it,
it doesn't work.
Have to be A and B.
Yep.
In one battery.
Exactly. B in the front and back. And this is all in the user manual, which has multiple languages too. So you will be able to find this in other places. Keep the battery from tipping over.
Uh-huh.
If you want to wall mount it, there's a separate bracket, and that's again only for the 10H size. So if you guys want to elevate these off the ground, the 10H is suitable for that, so you're allowed to do so. It's a separate part. It's an additional cost to adding that wall mounting bracket. This is just to keep it from tipping over and things like that. From here, these stickers, if you're not assembling the battery right away, maybe you're going to leave the job site, keep the stickers on. Dust, moisture, debris can get in there and cause connection issues. That is a common failure point, is people remove the stickers too early, things get in there, and then there's a failure. So be careful of the environment that you're installing. Make sure you keep those connectors clean. Who get comfortable with these? We've seen this happen often. Is they get very comfortable. They stop using the spacers. They say, I've done this a million times. They don't use the spacers, and they try to install it without it. The danger of that is just cables are very short. And if you try to connect these or lift this up while they're connected, you can pull the connectors apart. You can damage the connectors, the pins, and it won't work properly. We have addressed this recently. We've updated the connector types, so they're a little bit stronger than they were in the first production run. So we've tried to reduce the number of issues, but just please be careful when you're doing it. Make sure you use the spacers. When you receive the battery, it will have a minimum of 25% charge. We ship it out of the factory with at least 30%. So by the time you guys receive it, we'll have at least 25% charge in it. So more than enough charge to activate, to test it, to run through commissioning with the inverter. So there's more than enough there. It can sit for up for 3 years in the box before you have to worry about charging it or anything like that. that. So you're fine if you leave it in the warehouse for 6 months, no problem. This is also safe to do. A homeowner can do this. This is how it comes. This is a safety plate. So when you're doing the actual wiring, you're going to take this plate off. So this is how it will look when it's operating. So if your homeowner ever wants to know how to shut it off, this is how you would turn it on and off manually. Also use Wi-Fi. So if you don't want to run Ethernet cable all the way from their router, you can use the home Wi-Fi network. Connect the battery. The Resi Monitor app helps you connect, will allow you to do that. So it has two functions: to connect your phone to the battery, to register it, as well as to update firmware, as well as to, and then lastly, to connect the battery to the Wi-Fi network, if there is one available. I will note, if there is no internet at the house, that's a problem. It will need internet to be, to use the warranty, essentially, to be valid for the warranty. It does need an internet connection to receive updates and things like that. So if there is no internet connection, you could theoretically register the battery with your mobile hotspot on your phone. You could register, get to the internet, make sure the firmware updates are good to go, but you won't be able to remotely monitor it without the internet, of course. One detail here. So after you sign in, I like to log into it in the morning before I leave my office. Occasionally, a new firmware update is available, and it'll download to your phone ahead of time. So make sure you have good service to do that, or Wi-Fi. So you'll see right here, it'll say something about firmware. The firmware is on the phone. And right there. The firmware gets downloaded. Bottom. All right. Continuing. Okay, any questions about what we just watched? That video, again, is available. You can watch it anytime you want. It moves through the software pretty quickly. It will take you 1 or 2 tries to understand what it all means. So if you guys want some assistance, we can send our tech on site with you guys. We can send them here to Puerto Rico. We can go to a job site with you guys and he can help you out with your first install. So we can definitely support you in the field for your first installation if that's something you guys would like to do. All right, so let's see. This is all in Spanish, so I have to kind of guess what this is all saying. There's a few things to point out here. This is related to things to move just one slide, a couple slides ahead to slide 10. So I mentioned some issues that can happen with the connectors related to dust and moisture. These are pictures of actual connectors we've gotten back from the field. These are from our, this is from customer service. So this is the condition we see some of these connectors in. So you'd be surprised how dirty they can get even just after a few days of being left open. So just be very careful. Always check them before you install them. They should be clean, but just double check that they are. If they look like this, there's going to be a problem most likely. So just be advised. If it doesn't look like this, you have to call our tech support or use the tech support app, and we'll get you a replacement. If I do want to point out though that if this was left out with the stickers uncovered out in the rain for a few days, that's unfortunately not something that we are responsible for. So just be cautious. Things happen, but we want you guys to have a good experience. These are fragile components in the connectors. Move to the next slide. So I mentioned when you're installing it, be careful with how high you lift the BCU. Do not go much higher than the actual spacers. Otherwise you risk damaging the connectors or pulling the connecting wires out from their terminals. Inside, you can damage the actual connection. So that's another precaution to be aware of. The actual connectors, they have those 2 rabbit ears or those guides that'll help you guide the connectors together. Make sure you press it down all in the same motion, not one side and then the other. It's easy to bend those pins. And those pins bend, you also have a connection issue. Same thing here. Make sure when you connect it, you also press down the red tab. It'll click into place. And let's see, when you are testing this, you'll see right here, if this fault light stays lit up for more than 60 seconds, then that indicates that there is an issue, basically a failure of the system and something needs to be replaced. So if that fault light does not disappear after a minute, you should call tech support and figure out what's going on. It may just be that one of the connections is loose and you may need to check them. There'll be a troubleshooting guide they'll walk you through, but typically it's going to go back to review to make sure you got the battery modules in the right order and the connections are solid. There's no issues there. If all those are done correctly, then unfortunately there might be some kind of issue. I will mention service. We're working with Glenn right now to determine the best way, but what our goal is to have service stock and a service partner on the island. So we have the material. The idea is to have the materials available here in Puerto Rico and then to work with a contractor locally to do tech support. I know you guys will do some of your own if possible, but we'd like to have another service partner that can assist after installations and things like that. If you guys need that, we want that available. That's something we're working on right now. So moving on, the next slide. I'm not going to review all of this, but you guys can take a look at this on your own time. This is really if you leave these batteries installed but not operating for a long period of time, this is what could potentially happen to the state of charge. So just be advised that if you leave the battery breaker on the inverter off, things like that. This will give you an idea of how long you had before you need to actually turn the solar inverter on or turn the grid on and charge your batteries again. So this is basically leaving it in standby mode, but leaving most of the other equipment off. The battery will still slowly drain if it's hooked up and the battery's still turned on. So just if you when you guys install your systems, do you have to then shut everything off and wait for a number of days? I'm getting a no. So you can just turn it on and leave it on? Okay, so then you don't really have to worry about this. In other parts of the country, you typically have to install your system and then shut it down for a couple of weeks while you wait for the utility to approve it, and then you can turn it back on. So some people will just shut the inverter off and leave. That could be a problem because the battery is still on, and it eventually will after 62 days, you might be completely dead.
What happens if you drain the battery all the way to 0%?
Good question. So the battery has a fail-safe. It has a reserve. So you unless you go there and override certain things, you figure out how to override it, which is not really likely. You're not going to be able to drain it all the way to zero. So unless you tell the inverter to do something to drain all the way to zero purposefully, that might be an issue. But generally speaking, it's really hard to drain all the way to zero. You leave a little bit left, no matter how well you set it. So you don't have to worry about draining it while you're, say, commissioning it, or if there's bad weather for a few days. If it goes down to zero, there's still like 5% in the battery. So you'll see zero, but there's still enough that it'll turn back on when the power either comes back on or the sun comes up, and you get solar power back.
So how do you do that? So turn on the breaker again?
You just leave it on essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just leave it on.
Okay.
Yeah, you can reset it if there's an error. You can always reset it, but yeah, you then essentially just leave it on.
Okay. Thank you.
Andrew, so let's say a customer wants to. This is a common question.
Yeah.
Let's say they purchase the 10 kilowatt, and let's say a year from the installation, they want to operate and purchase another unit. Is that something that they can do? How much time in between?
No problem. They can do another 10 that way. They can add another 10 to the system. Doesn't matter if it's 1 year or 4 years later, as long as it's the same model.
Yeah.
A Resi Prime 10.
So the warranty keeps separate each battery?
Yes, exactly. When you run through the mobile app, the software, that's when the warranty starts as soon as you register. So that you might have one that's a 10-year warranty, one that's an 8-year warranty at that point, but perfectly fine. There's no problem with functionality for operating. Yeah. Any other questions on the web?
No.
Okay. All right, continuing on here. So here's a snapshot of the website. Again, you can see home battery partner. This is a review on the home battery partner tab, tech support. There's a couple important things here to look at. And then those you can't really see it right here. I'll try to do it at the end to show you a live view of the website. When you're monitoring the battery in Resi Monitor, you can check the health of the battery, and you can look up these different kinds of fault codes, if there are any fault codes. So if you see that red triangle on your battery, you can look on the battery status, and it'll show you which fault number is present. If you see one of these, you can see, all right, I see fault code 3. Okay, BCU separation. So you maybe stretched the connector. Okay, well that's probably not fixable, but you can try reconnecting and see if that works. So there's a guide here. Tech support will walk you through these steps as well. But for example, if your homeowner calls and says there's something wrong with my battery, then you can monitor it remotely. You can look and say, number 4, you get okay, let's see, what's this issue here? Seems like a delay. Let's see. So you might need to just recharge it. So you can maybe adjust an inverter setting to start charging from the grid right away, and that'll solve that. So you can start figuring out what it needs to do to fix it. So this should be helpful. Cool. that's the end of this section here. So let's take another Q&A segment here, and then we'll do a little battery assembly, and then we'll wrap it up after that. Any questions on the live stream? Anybody out there in the internet have any questions? Nope.
No questions?
Cool. Any more questions here? No? Okay. Cool. All right, moving on. Thank you, guys. You guys want to take another couple-minute break or just keep going? Keep going. All right, stop sharing that. Okay, I need a volunteer. Who wants to help out with the battery assembly? All right, 2 volunteers. All right, thank you, guys. Okay, so box 1, no label on it. This is the accessory box. Accessory and mounting instructions. Put this down, place it on the ground. So you got your user manual, and this is your template, your bracket template. This is, if you want to get a digital version of it, there's also, you can always have on your cell phone. There's a user manual. I'll open this up so you can see them. We don't have a wall behind us, but we'll just, imagine. This is your bracket template. That gives you an idea of the dimensions. So you tape it on the wall, you drill your bolts. I like to leave the bolts loose so you can move it around. Some people clamp all the way down. But I like to leave them a little bit loose so that you can make some adjustments so you can keep it level. Okay. So other important things in here. We've got the hardware. We've got this thing. And we've got our brackets. So this is the wall bracket, and this is the connection plate bracket. All right, let's take this and put this on the ground. Oh, there's more. More bolts. Zip ties for wire management. The other control brackets. Here's your conduit flange and plugs if you don't use both conduits. And the control bracket. All right, let's put this on the ground. Are we still in frame up here? So we'll do front that way. Okay, so you can see label front, rear, place it on the ground, assuming this is the wall. Okay, let's get these components open. So we'll save this one for a moment from now. That's for a little bit later. In fact, let's take all this off. We'll take, okay, so there's the BCU, spacers from the top, and then let's take this box off so we can start looking at those two. Battery modules. We'll find there's a carrying handle on both ends. This one's the bottom side. here. So on this side is where there would be your sticker. Since there's no sticker, we don't know which one's the front or the back, which is okay. So we'll grab that side and we'll focus on the front.
Acuérdense que la cámara está acá.
Okay. All right, battery module 1 installed. Perfect. Yep, just like this, so these face each other like that. All right. Okay, so now we can take these spacers. This is the top spacer, the labels. They go there. Yeah, we got that up to that line. And there should be one more spacer in here. Might be at the bottom. There's usually another spacer that you can use for right here, just so you know how far away from the wall to put it. Got that there. All right, so we're gonna peel these stickers off.
All of them?
Yep. Okay. Let's take this plastic off.
What model was that?
This one is the 16. Okay, so we're gonna just lift it up both sides, and then we're gonna line up the connectors.
If you put the spacers I did, no?
That's fine, yeah. Put them into place. Now you push the red tab down, like that. Okay, now we slide the spacers out, just up slightly.
Los dedos ahí.
Así de acrílico.
Okay, that one looks good on this side. How's it look on that side? Looks good. All right. Do we have any tools here? I realized I didn't bring any tools.
What do you need? Screwdriver?
Yeah, torque. Number, I think it's
Doors.
Okay.
I totally forgot. I'm sorry. Go.
So the 10 is like,
A little shorter, yeah. All right.
The PCU is the same.
Yes, the VCU is the same.
Oh.
Correct.
The same for both?
Yeah.
So the difference basically is the battery.
Yes, to keep the one SKU. Yeah, we got the
While
same
he's doing
PCU,
that-
different DNA.
Okay.
That's the module assembly.
So just so you know, the bracket will go back here once we take these 4 bolts out. That'll go here. And then these.
the output?
Sorry?
40 amps on the output? No?
It's 38.
38?
Yeah.
38.
So these are these are for the bottom, so these connect down here with a small bolt. These. We do these on each side. One on this side and then one on that side. Yeah. I'm not used to being filmed.
Mira a ver si te sirve.
Sí, sí.
Yeah, I don't think this will work.
¿Isométrico o estándar?
No sé.
It's a
You need out this screw?
yeah.
¿Metric o estándar?
A veces que se funciona. A veces
10, 11 o 5?
I think it's number
Only one.
10. Let me double check.
Okay.
I mean, oh, we got it. We got it.
You got it?
Gracias. Que el mismo destornillador tiene la cosita.
Pues entonces estándar. 516.
Ese es mi super destornillador.
¿Ah?
Ese es mi
ese es
super
el-
destornillador.
Ya me devolví.
Ah, no, ese no es el mío.
I want.
All right. So normally there would be a heat sink here. Oh, right here, there's would be a heat sink. There's nothing inside. This is empty. So this is where the bracket goes, the wall bracket. Got the other part of the bracket. Yeah. That's for, so this, it's a dual, this one goes here. Yep, exactly. So that here is adjustability. Those three go here. Yep. Okay. What I typically do is I do this first on the wall, and then so this part with it is already on the wall, and then I connect it to this. It fell out. It's okay because this is
That's the one guy.
it's there's nothing it's a dummy battery. So there's nothing in the battery.
Mhm.
So usually everything is in here, like all this stuff. I'll just leave that there for now. Okay, so what we would do next is we would take these bolts, the long bolts, and connect these three. This connects the batteries to the battery control unit to the battery modules. That's how you secure these, so three for each side.
You need to put the top, right, first?
No, eso viene después.
No, you
Oh,
put this
wow, okay.
and then this.
Los tornillos.
Yeah. They line up. It's over.
And then you
No, son aquellos intencionales. Lo volvieron.
Sometimes it needs to be adjusted. You got it? Do like 8 millimeters. Yep. That's correct.
So this is a 16.
Yeah, this is the same material, just without, the things inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Show you the case. There you go, you're done. And then normally now you would open this up.
Yeah, and then start working.
And then you would see, you can see the breakers in here. You can take
Hold on.
screws. Your communication and your power cables goes in here with,
No, más para acá, ¿verdad? No, can get there. ¿Pueden girar eso un poco para acá? La máquina completa. Ahí está, un poquito más. Ahí, perfect.
No haremos.
Perfect.
No, se puede quitar.
That's good, that's good.
Para poder trabajar más cómodo.
or you can use.
Yeah, the other one.
Sí.
Ajá.
No, without the.
Yeah, I guess
Without the nuts.
put it apart.
Una pregunta. Can this work on 50 Hz? That is hertz? 50 hertz.
50 hertz.
The battery doesn't really care, but the inverter will.
Yeah. Así que le puedes poner, depende del inversor.
Ese es 120 volts and also 220 volts. Ese es Ralph Oversee de Curazao.
El inversor.
¿Compatible con todos los inversores?
No, con los que estaban ahí, que era el Goodway, el de SMA, Solid y SolarEdge. No, Fortress no, porque Fortress es 48 voltios, esto es high voltage. Esto es 400.
gozando.
Sí.
Sí. Tener la licencia es mucho más fácil.
Sí.
Exacto.
Y los cables son más finitos.
Y después trabajar más cómodo.
Bueno, esos cables no tengo, los cables eran
¿Finitos?
no.
Sí, sí, porque todo el mundo.
Hay que andar con un vacuum.
Así.
Sí, porque tú sabes que eso el cuerpo es
Great. Okay. So, what do you guys think? Easy? Hard?
Easy, yeah.
Easy.
It's very easy.
And it looks very nice.
Good.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like it looks.
Excellent.
It looks clean, slick.
Excellent.
A recommendation, one of the guys says that we must have at least a portable vacuum cleaner in order to get this, just in case it doesn't environment.
Right. I'm going to share my screen just so you guys can see the website too. Let's see. Now I'll finish off on that and any other questions. Let's share screen.
There we go. That one?
Yeah. Still seeing it? Cool. Okay, so here's the website, just so you guys know where to go for a couple key things. So English or Spanish. When you're getting started, you're going to go to partner login. Click, I'll sign you guys all up, and then you'll have to check your email and reset your passwords. So you enter your email, password, login. Join us. And this is how to find ID password, how you reset. Now from here, now you're going to go to the certified installer test. It'll tell you, you'll be logged in, and it'll take you to the next step. So that's where you find the certified installer test. Some important information here. I'm going to open up the product info tab. You're going to find some really good stuff here. So here are the here's the Prime Plus info and the batteries. So if you need compatible inverters, warranties, or installation manuals or anything like that, that's where you're going to find all of it. For both batteries, here's the last version. If you guys have seen these, you might look familiar. So you might still see some of these out in the field. Same thing with Prime Plus. Yeah, so I just wanted to finish off here. Here's Resi Monitor. There's the web version and the mobile version. You can access all of it here. If you have any questions, find the Q&A section. There's some useful stuff here. It's specific to you. Yeah, that's about it. So that's the battery website, lgesbattery.com. Again, that's going to be linked in the presentation files. Those will be available to everybody.
on the right top. Okay. Yeah. Down, I mean, the region was sometimes.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
This is state. Yeah.
With different country, it has different product. So yeah, because
Yeah.
in the United States we don't have a low voltage, but in case of Europe, there's a low voltage.
You do have a low voltage in Europe.
For the European market,
But
for this.
All right, that's pretty much it for today. So I want to close off with a couple key things. Again, this is available now. If you guys are interested in trying it, we can support you guys with some pre-training. We'll get you certified. We're going to host another virtual class Friday. If you want to join, you can certify on your own. It's really easy. There's a promotion available for Prime Plus for the whole inverter plus the battery. And let's see, we'll be traveling back to Puerto Rico every couple of weeks, probably every 3 weeks. Again, if you want us to assist with any installations, if you need help with a project, you want us to join you on a job site, we can set that up. We just need about 3 weeks notice. 2 or 3 weeks notice would be great. Appreciate everybody who joined us virtually. Thank you for your questions. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll hang out here for a bit longer and answer more questions, but that basically concludes the assembly training. The next version will come back probably in July to do another version. We'll do it on maybe the west side of Puerto Rico for the folks that couldn't drive here today. And next time we'll have a real battery too, so you can feel what it feels like to move it and do the full connection. We can actually run through the software too. You can commission them by themselves, which is kind of nice. So we can do that demo as well in the future. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Again, please reach out to us if you want to set up an in-person training at a job site or at your office. So thank you guys so much for your attendance.
Thank you, Andrew.